This episode of the Acts of Geekery Podcast is brought to you by the Rebels Emporium. Want to look good without appearing too formal? Look no further than the casual styles of the Rebel Emporium. From our solo vests to our sandals that make you feel like you're walking on Cloud City, we have it all for your casual wear needs. The Rebel Emporium. Become a TIE fighter today. Welcome back to the Acts of Geekery Podcast, episode 29. I'm Cory.
And I'm Scott.
And we are the Brothers Geek, here to bring you all the geeky things in the world of geekdom.
Bringing them out to all you fine ladies and gentlemen.
In radio land.
I should say handsome ladies and...
Sexy gentlemen?
Sexy gentlemen.
Okay.
Sure.
Sexy gentlemen. You know what? Gentlemen can be sexy too at times.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
We have a right to feel sexy.
A right to feel sexy.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well, lots of news to go through this week, so let's go ahead and just get into it, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's kind of what we always do.
You're late.
For what?
Fair enough.
Fair enough, indeed.
We're not late at all. I don't know what everybody's complaining about.
That dad of mine,
we're
not
coming
not
to
really
you.
mine.
No, not yours.
Someone else's.
We're coming to you exactly when you want us to. We are a wizard, Scott.
Although technically,
we are a wizard podcast. We arrive precisely when we mean to.
That's correct. Technically, I could argue that we are a little late today.
Yeah, true.
But that's on the recording, and it doesn't matter to you downloading.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
shut up.
Well, I'm sure some people are waiting for it, and it hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah, maybe. They'll get it later.
Yeah, for those of you, sorry you didn't get your fix when you wanted it to.
It'll be uploaded before midnight tonight. Whether that means at 11:59 or
if
earlier?
it comes to you unedited and raw, don't blame us.
Yes.
Actually, you blame us. That's our job.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can definitely blame us. What do we got on the news today?
Well, we're gonna start off with like the biggest news story of the week, I would say.
All right.
The Marvel Universe is coming to an end.
Oh, well,
There goes half of our podcast.
it's a good thing I sold all my stock in Marvel.
Yep.
It's a good thing I stopped getting all my comics from them, and good thing I, stopped getting my hopes up for all their movies.
Exactly.
And if it's coming to an end, why should I care?
They're gone.
Jeez.
Yeah. No Age of Ultron. You don't get anything.
Yep, they canceled it all. They canceled Ant-Man. They canceled Black Panther.
Pink Panther.
Oh,
The best.
Black
Oh my
Panther
gosh.
color corrected.
Yes.
Although that could be considered racist if
Very
he's color
racist.
corrected.
All right. No, we're not talking about Marvel Studios closing down and ending their comic books and their
That's
movies.
a little later today that we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that comes at the end of the news. No, what we're talking about is the comic book universe of Marvel, the proper universe, which is called 616,
Yes.
Earth 616,
Earth 616.
and their other line, which is their ultimate line, which is Earth something or other.
I don't
Ultimate
know. I don't remember. And that, folks, is the alarm to take out the trash. just in case you're wondering.
Where'd that gorilla come from?
I don't know. I had it on mute too. I ran in and out of like 4 doors during that. And at one time I was being chased instead of doing the chasing.
Yeah, it was weird.
And all of a sudden there's a bunch of women, like a whole like 5 or 6 of them chasing after me.
Yeah.
I didn't go into a bathroom or anything.
No.
Whatever.
Wait. Is that what happens when you go into bathrooms usually? Women start chasing you?
What if I go into a men's bathroom? No, that's what happens whenever you hear the Benny Hill when they do the Benny Hill
so
stuff.
it's just you
they
run into a
open-
bathroom and women
It's
start chasing you.
a gorilla and a guy, and they're running back and forth, and the policeman gets involved, and they're chasing each other through all these different doorways. And the next thing you know, there's a bunch of like showgirls just randomly out of nowhere coming out of a door behind someone.
I think you're also mixing a little bit of V for Vendetta in there.
That's possible.
Anyway,
That would be our background music
for the entire
for
episode.
the entire news.
Oh, great.
Marvel Universe ending.
Yes. So what's going to happen is Marvel is doing what DC did a while ago and resetting their universe. Or combining all of their alternate universes.
It's going to be Marvel New 53.
Actually, I think it'll be Marvel Crisis on Infinite Marvels.
Okay, because
Yeah.
so far, come on, Marvel. Everything except for your movies has been a copy of DC.
Yeah.
Not everything, but most of them.
It kind of goes back and forth between them, like DC copies Marvel, Marvel copies DC.
I think Marvel makes more money in comics right now because of the movies, but I think in the long run, DC has always done better overall, just because I don't know if they have better storylines or better comic book characters, you know, and I'm not going to get into a debate over which one's better type of a deal.
Because we both know it's Marvel.
That's DC. But again, subjective.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was just trying to go like the opposite of what you were saying.
But because, I mean, back in the past, Marvel was filing bankruptcy, and that's why they lost Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, all those different rights because they sold them off.
Yeah.
You know, because they were broke, needed some money.
All right. So back in the 1990s, there was a comic book series called The Secret Wars that took characters from different universes and dropped them into this place called Battle World and made them fight against each other. This is where Spider-Man first found the symbiote suit.
Okay.
And a bunch of other stuff happened in those comics as well. Well, about 4 or 5 months ago, Marvel started releasing comic teaser titles for certain things going on, and one of them was Secret Wars, the first one. And everybody's like, are we having another Secret War? I don't know what's going on. And then they did Civil War. They released Planet Hulk, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that the entire Marvel universe and all the different alternate realities are going to be mashed into one world called Battle World again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool,
so
cool.
the Age of Ultron universe is going to be its own nation in Battle World that struggles to control the world against all the other Marvel universes.
So I wonder if this means that, like, so far Marvel has rebooted 3/4 of their titles in the past year or two.
Yeah, they've done kind of like a soft reboot with their Marvel Now.
Yeah, where they start everything over at issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
So people that they want to get into comics, but they don't want to go back and read 700 issues of Spider-Man, 500 issues of X-Men. They can just pick it right up at number 1, and they created a whole bunch of side comics as well. I mean, you've got like
we picked up several.
Yeah, we did. We picked up a whole bunch of them.
Now the problem is,
so you think they're going to reboot them all again?
Yeah. So the problem with these soft reboots is you pick up the number 1, going, oh, I can start from Thor number 1, and you read it and you go, this is nothing. I don't know what's going on here. Like there's stuff they're making references that I don't get and things like that. But when DC did it, it was start from number 1. Okay, here's the characters. Here's, what we're going to talk about.
And they didn't even do origin stories, which is cool that they were able to do it without an origin story. So
what Marvel is trying to do now is they're trying to just hard reset and start everything over.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
I hope that... So DC, when they did the New 52, that was fun. They had a lot of number 1s, and I picked up probably like 80% of them. There were a few that I didn't, which now that I wish I would have. Animal Man and a couple others like that.
I think Swamp Thing.
Yeah, Batgirl.
Batgirl number 1.
I would have rather have read Batgirl than Batwoman, type of a thing. But I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know what was going to be good about it. However, DC is fractured even further. Like they've canceled a bunch of them. Hawkman ran out. A couple
Animal Man's
gone. A couple others have just
I think Swamp Thing's gone too, isn't it?
Yeah, they've kind of ended their run, and mostly because they're not selling.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what drives everybody to do anything.
Usually when they'd cancel like 3, and then the next 2 months they'd come out with 5 new ones, 5 new titles, and then they'd cancel 2 more of a different group, and then they'd come out with 4 more. And pretty soon, now there's like 100 different titles, and if you're not an umpteen millionaire or umpta billionaire or whatever you want to call it, it's hard to collect them all.
It's
I've had to cut down. I have like a set. This is how much I want to spend every month on comics, and it's getting to the point where it is like bulging at the seams. I have to put comics back into my hold box at the local store and be like, I'll pick those up next time when the week's not so heavy.
Yeah.
When there's only like 2 coming out.
It doesn't help when they're coming out with variants, they're coming out with annuals, they come out with crossover events that bump up the price. You slap Batman onto a comic, suddenly it's $1 extra.
Yeah.
Like you can slap extra Batman onto Batman, and it goes from a $3.99 to a $4.99 comic.
Yeah, they have more. DC not so much, but Marvel has more $3.99 comics than they have $2.99 comics.
Now the good thing about Marvel though is their $3.99 comics are all digital too.
They come with a digital.
Yeah, so we can share them easier. So for like DC, I know there's comics that I want to read, like the Green Lantern comics, the Flash comic that you have, and I look at them in the store and I'm like, I don't want to buy these because Scott has them, but I don't want to drag your comics or pull them all out and everything and have to put them back.
Yeah.
And all that. With Marvel, it's like, yeah, I got the latest Avengers read. Okay, I can go online and download it and read it myself, you know?
Yep. Well,
Speaking of which, I have to catch up on some.
There's a lot too. I've been putting up a whole bunch on our on the app. Comixology is the app we use. But yeah, you're right. So $3.99 is not too hard to stomach when you get the physical copy plus the digital copy as well. However, with DC, you don't get a digital copy unless you spend the $4.99 version.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I'm like, really?
What happened to DC holding the line at $2.99?
Yeah, that was their slogan
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They're not going to make any comics more than $2.99 except
Unless
for
it's
like
Justice
an annual
League
or something.
Unless it's Justice League, Batman, Superman, you know, the good ones.
Yeah. Well, Superman's not. Batman regular is not. But
Wait,
Action Comics
really?
and Detective Comics are.
I thought Batman and Superman were $3.99.
No, they're
ones.
$2.99. They're regular titles, but Action Comics and Detective Comics are $3.99.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is strange. But like I said, hopefully Marvel resets, gives us 30 to 40 titles. It sounds like a lot, but it's
Yeah.
really not.
No.
Because you split those up over four weeks.
Yep,
That's 10 a week.
10 titles a week.
And you don't
which-
have to get them all. I mean, I don't care much about. I mean, I like these characters.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go pick up
X-Men.
Captain America, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Iron Man. I just not really.
Yeah. You know what?
Super interested in them.
That is so weird. We were kind of talking about that earlier, where neither of us really has much interest in an Iron Man comic.
Yeah.
He's a great hero. He's awesome. And Robert Downey Jr. does a great job playing him. But neither of us go, you know what, I want an Iron Man comic.
Yep,
you know?
correct.
But if they introduce a set of 40 titles like the new 52 did,
Yeah.
I might pick up an Iron Man comic.
I might too, just kind of to get a start and see what happens, see where it goes.
See how they do with it.
You know, they'll be Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk,
Spider-Man.
They'll probably be Spider-Man, of course, X-Men, of course.
Oh yeah, they got to do that.
Maybe a Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're doing. I think they're doing something a little bit different than DC did, because DC just restarted all their titles.
Yeah.
They're combining all of their alternate universes with this too,
Which is awesome because both you and I really like the Ultimate Universe, but not enough to go buy
exactly.
the comics from them.
We think it's cool. We just don't really think it's
unless there's a crossover.
amazing.
Yeah, usually if there's a crossover, we'll end up picking them up. But yeah, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with them. We'll see how they do. Hopefully, it's as productive and as good for them as it was for DC.
Yeah. Hopefully, they do better than DreamWorks is doing right now.
Oh yes,
Yes. So we found out, I think this was Wednesday, I want to say.
Yeah, somewhere around that time, middle of the week or so. Thursday.
Yep, Thursday. There we go. That DreamWorks has decided to close one of their main production business, like their studios.
Yes.
Yes.
Which
So-
that in itself is not that big of a deal because
Yeah.
companies close facilities all the time.
It is
and
kind of
shuffle
a
things
big deal
around.
because they're dropping 500 employees.
Well, and that's what makes it a big
yeah.
deal. If it was just closing their facility because it's old and something, they're opening a new one, great. But no, they're laying off 500 people.
Yeah, which sucks.
Definitely.
Yep. DreamWorks, of course, does animation like Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, which won the People's Choice Award, I believe.
Yeah.
And is up
The second one, you mean?
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon too. Sorry, and is up for the other for the Oscar.
Nice.
So
They've done what? Let's see. What else have they done besides that? I know they're coming out with another Kung Fu Panda, but they've done. Oh, didn't they do Ants or Bugs Life? No, Pixar's Bugs Life.
no,
They
yeah,
did
Pixar's,
Ants, I think.
No, Ants was a third company, I think.
Oh, huh.
Shrek. They famously
did
did Shrek.
They drove Shrek into the ground.
Yep.
Both that and Puss in Boots.
Yep. So and then they've cut back to 2 films a year. and cut a bunch of their...
Which is odd, and we both commented on this. They're cutting back to 2, and we're like, have they been doing more than 2?
I think this last year maybe they did 3. So their production lineup as of this point is Kung Fu Panda 3, coming out March 2016. Trolls, which is something coming out November 2016. Boss Baby. I don't know what that is. Doesn't sound good.
Nope, does not sound good.
The Croods 2 in 2017.
Which the first one was a surprisingly good movie.
Yeah, it was actually fun. The Larrikins?
Larkins?
I don't know. In 2018, and How to Train Your Dragon in 2018. And then the Bureau of Otherworldly Operations, which we talked about during our What's Coming This Year, has been pushed back to in development.
Yeah,
so it's probably not coming out this year. As well as something called Mumbai Musical.
Good.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
I'm like anti-musicals right now. This happens all the time. Like, I will not watch one for a long time, and then someone will talk me into going and watching one.
You'll forget.
And I'll forget how much I don't like them. And this is not just like I'm trying to be a manly man, you know?
Yeah.
This is just I do not like musicals.
Because you and I were having a discussion last night, and you were talking about how much you actually like Frozen, which is a musical.
I like Frozen. I like Pitch Perfect. I thought that was a great movie. Or at least the music was done great in it.
Rock of Ages,
I thought was pretty funny. You know, and we came to the conclusion that it depends on how the music style's done.
Yep.
If it's made for a movie, they understand that there's got to be probably 60% of the movie has to be plot, and actual conversations
and then you've got to have
people.
like 4 or 5 songs,
and then it's full songs,
and they're powerful moments in the story,
Yeah.
like Let It Go is in Frozen, or Do You Want to Build a Snowman, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Frozen breaks that rule a little bit for you, which you were talking about, where I think the best example is when Elsa and Anna are talking together in the castle, and they start talking to each other. And at that point, like the first time we watched this, I went, "Oh no, this is gonna like drop Scott's liking of this movie." But you know, we ended up loving that movie.
But they ended up turning it around. Now, the most recent one we went and saw, or at least that I went and saw, was Into the Woods. And they totally... That ruined musicals for me for a long time.
For at least the next 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't talk an entire sentence without singing part of it, don't make a movie of it. It's not going to be good.
People think you're a little too hard on musicals.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to listen to someone say, "Hey, we need to go into the woods and find the egg." I don't know. We're going to go into the woods and find the egg. That's where we need to go. Then, if you're going to make like a montage song, fine, do it.
Yeah.
When Chris Pine and his brother, the two princes, are on the waterfall,
singing,
and they're like,
agony.
Yeah, that's funny. That's good.
It's a full song. It's really good,
and it fits in with the story.
Yep.
But all the other times where it is Emily Blunt and the guy, her husband in the show, and they're like half singing, half talking back to each other, that is annoying. That drives
what
me
was really
batty.
annoying. So there's a part in Into the Woods where they found, I think, like half the stuff, and they're talking about how they feel like their relationship is being reignited with this and everything. And they start into a song, like a full-on song, which is fine. But I'm sitting there like, you have like a day and a half to find everything you need, and you guys want to run around the forest and make whoopee. What are you doing?
Yeah. Just stop singing and go do what you need to do.
Exactly.
I mean, I can understand the princes singing because they don't have anything going on.
No, yeah, and they're
care.
princes. They don't give a crap.
Yeah, or the witch that's just waiting, for them. Fine, she can sing a song, but when you're like actively doing something, stop it. Stop it. So I'm good. I'm happy that Mumbai Musical. First of all, it's not only a musical; it's probably going to be a musical with a little bit of Bollywood thrown in.
Yeah,
and it's gonna suck. That's my prediction. 0 out of 5 geek cards.
You heard it here.
In fact, it's gonna be
out.
so bad. They're gonna have to give me geek cards. It's gonna be in the negatives.
Negative geek cards.
Negative geek
that's
cards.
Never happened before.
It will.
Another thing that I heard from our fans as I've been talking with them is we have made terrible movies better.
Really?
Yes.
Like what?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the example.
Okay.
What I was talking to one of our
Our
fans.
reviews have
Yes.
made them better.
And she said that we had talked it down so much and said that it was so awful, like there was nothing good about it, that when she went to see it, she actually thought it was okay.
Okay.
Because her hopes were dashed.
Good. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here to dash your hopes and dreams against the rocks.
Yep, so that you can actually feel good about
So
yourself.
that when you go see a terrible, terrible movie,
Yep.
you're like, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
I don't know why they were saying that about the movie.
But that doesn't make a good movie.
No.
That does not a good movie make.
I'm just saying we're helping people by showing them, or like by showing them the darker side so that they can look on the lighter side.
Okay, but Into the Woods is bad. Bad. It could have been so much better.
Let's just. I think it was fine. It just wasn't your style of movie.
But what's going to be a good movie soon?
Oh, yeah.
And this is like, if it bombs, I'm going to be so mad. I'll be so mad at Marvel.
How can it?
I don't know.
I don't know
hope
how
not.
it can with how big Avengers are.
And it's Joss Whedon again.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Age of Ultron should do well. And we actually have confirmation now that Andy Serkis, who plays Gollum in Lord of the Rings, we don't need to think about him in anything else, although he does play Caesar.
he did a great Caesar,
He does a great
actually.
Caesar
in
in
Dawn
Planet
of the
of the
Planet of the Apes and
Dot
Planet of the
Pata.
Apes. Dot Pata. And Rise.
Rot Pata.
Rot Pata.
It's just easier.
That's true. It is easier.
But he is confirmed as the character Ulysses Claw, Klaw.
Oh, the bad guy from that cartoon, Inspector Gadget.
Yes, that's exactly
Right?
what it is.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, that's why he does the voice, and he's like, "There's been an awakening." No, wait, no, that's the
everyone.
other Andy Serkis
Everyone is
character.
waking up. I want someone to go back to sleep.
No, Claw is a villain who is after vibranium, which is primarily found in Wakanda, but also found in Captain America's shield.
Mm-hmm.
And what he ends up becoming is a supervillain. Well, I think his hand gets chopped off by Black Panther,
I think so, yeah.
and he replaces it with a
Like a sonic generator.
sonic generator that uses vibranium to create sonic vibrations through this claw, and that's his supervillain.
And they
name.
couldn't call him the Vibrator, so they
Nope.
called him Ulysses Claw.
Ulysses
or
Claw.
the Claw or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yep, just like I think Stanley was talking about how he wished he would have thought of a different name for Mary Jane Watson after he learned what else Mary Jane was.
that
And
still doesn't make her likable.
and the Shocker.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
But that came out way later than the Shocker did.
Mhm.
So that was someone else taking something that was already existed and just coming
Adapting
up with,
it.
Yeah, adapting it. So
All right, moving on to Star Trek news.
yay.
Simon Pegg has been brought on to
Scotty,
punch up the script for Star Trek 3.
which is good.
Yes.
Because the director was chosen, and it was the Fast and the Furious 6 or 5.
Yeah, Fast
writer.
and Furious.
Fast and Furious, which was number 5, I believe.
Nope, 6.
6, you're right.
Because Fast 5 was Fast 5.
That's right. Yeah, the Fast and Furious or whatever it is, and it both made us groan.
Yeah, we're just kinda like,
"No,
I don't know.
I don't want drifting in space. No,
But Simon Pegg knows what he's talking about. He's been a geek for pretty much all his life.
and he's unashamedly a geek. I mean, he loves being a geek, and in fact, there's many quotes about being a geek and how awesome it is to be able to love something so much.
Yeah, and with so much passion that you may do a podcast about it.
True. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
he's gonna come on
I'm
and
excited.
help. Hopefully, he reins in that terrible director.
Well, the director doesn't really have much to do with the script, just with the application of the script.
Yeah, which we've seen what directors can do.
Yep.
Michael Bay.
George Lucas.
Yeah, how they can ruin things. They ruin our childhood. I hope they don't. I want Star Trek to succeed.
You
Not
wanna
only
see
because
more
I'm
movies, you wanna
because I'm a
see-
Star Trek nerd, but because I want to see more of it. I want to see it, adapted for a younger generation. I want it to become popular. I want another TV show. I want another
Yes.
7 seasons of Star Trek.
every movie that we get that is science fiction or geek related is one less movie we have to deal with that is stupid action flick.
Or a football movie.
Yeah. So if you don't want sports movies, please go support these geek movies.
And if you're listening to the podcast, chances are you probably like geek movies or fantasy movies.
At least something.
Yes.
The other little bit of quote-unquote Star Trek news that I have for you today is about Patrick Stewart.
The immortal man.
Yep. The best captain of the Enterprise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Yeah.
Well,
there's some Shatnerites out there shaking their fists at me.
there's arguments both ways. You know, Shatner did really good.
I like
with what
Quantum Leap. He's my favorite. Archer.
Patrick Stewart's probably one of the best, well known. I'm sure Kirk is still the best, but Captain of the Enterprise in the Next Generation. He was in 4 movies.
Generations, First Contact, Insurrection,
Nemesis.
Oh, okay. I thought there was 5 for some reason.
Nah, 4 movies. Not very good at it.
But he is actually going to be narrating something else space related.
Also, Patrick Stewart was Wheels in X-Men.
Xavier.
Yep.
Wheels. Patrick Stewart is going to be narrating NASA's mission to Mars in a movie, I think, a documentary.
Yeah, it's like a documentary movie behind the scenes.
Space.
Called Journey to Space. It's going to be in select theaters on February. I'm sure it'll be out on the internet or on Netflix soon. It's being presented by Boeing and Toyota, and it's kind of talking about how putting people on Mars is no longer science fiction.
Yeah.
It's a reality. It's going to happen. And this is him doing the narration for how they're doing it, you know, what kind of tests they're doing, you know, talks of like Curiosity rover and all the Spirit and Opportunity.
Which has been running for 11 years, right?
No, that's Spirit and Opportunity.
Oh, okay. Spirit and
Opportunity. Spirit's broken down.
Oh, poor Spirit.
It
It didn't have the spirit to go on.
It had a 1-year mission. 1-year mission, and it went for like 8. So
nice.
I'd say that's a 800% success.
Yeah.
It's good enough. So that's how NASA does it. Is they're like, you know, we understand this is hard. Like putting a robot on Mars is a hard thing. People think it's not that hard. It is hard.
Really hard.
You know, because you can't send people that far without major technology breakthroughs, you know. And now we've starting to give them SpaceX wants to put people on Mars. The Mars Society wants to put people on Mars.
Well, of course.
They've all started to make plans, and SpaceX is, you know, we'll put a person on Mars by 2020 type of thing, which is super cool if they can do it.
Yeah.
It takes like 18 months to get there. So that means they've got to
It's not actually that long.
18 months from Earth to Mars.
Yeah.
That is a long time.
I mean, it's a year and a half, yes.
Sure.
It's a year and a half of being in space. But, okay, so listening to a lot of science fiction and reading a lot more science fiction and playing science fiction games has really given me a perspective about time frames and everything. Like the fact that traveling between stars would be completely out of your lifetime.
100,000 years.
Yeah.
You know.
And so the fact that it's only a year and a half to get to Mars comparatively is like, oh, okay, that's like a day trip.
Not bad. Jeez. Yeah, definitely. So
I mean, it is mostly a one-way trip. Well, even not then.
Yeah,
like
not necessarily. It's a one way. You land, you set up your colony, you get it started, and they either send more supplies, or if they come to cycle you out, you know, then they come pick you up. But chances are you're right. It is a one-way trip. In fact, that's what the Mars Society is all about. They are interviewing people and taking applications for people that want to go to Mars. And that's it. They go to Mars and they live there. They become native Martians. You have to have good skills.
I have skills.
I
will direct them to 29 episodes of a podcast. Thank you very much.
You know about oxygen?
Yes, I know about it.
You can be Cory, Space Radio.
Space Radio. They're coming at you from Mars. We'll see you in a year. Actually, how long does it take to transmit?
From Mars, it's about 14 minutes.
Okay.
So not too bad.
Yeah. Coming at you with a 14-minute delay. Let's go to the caller. Hello, caller. I guess they're calling from Earth.
14 minutes later. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? This is the longest.
Oh no, not much. Yeah, what was the question?
It's been about 45 minutes. I kind of forgot.
All right, well, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next caller on the line.
But back to our news story. Patrick Stewart narrating.
Yes.
He has a great voice.
Yes.
He plays the voice of Director Bullock.
Is
it Bullock?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Bullock.
In American Dad.
In American Dad, the CIA agent.
Best part of that show, in my opinion.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
He also plays the voice of Susie, which is on Family Guy, the baby of Joe Swanson and his wife.
Their little baby girl.
Yes, when it
He's
zooms
the
into her
inner
head
voice.
and he's the inner voice. He plays a couple voices in like Ted. He's the narrator in Ted.
He's got a cameo bit in Million Ways to Die in the West. He's so awesome.
He is cool, and he's got a great voice.
He does
for
have
that,
a really good voice. So
he's the new Alan Alda.
yeah,
Because I haven't heard him in anything in a long time. I don't know what's going on with him.
yeah,
Maybe he's getting like super senile and crazy.
that's probably
Because he's 90, I
yeah,
think.
he's pretty old.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Jeez, that
Well,
means we're older too, Scott.
Here's why you can't believe it. Because they play MASH reruns on TV. They've been playing them
Yeah, that's true.
since it ended like 30 years ago.
Yeah, and
you
you're
know?
like, oh, he's still that young.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Gotham, doing okay. I mean, as a show, yeah,
Doing good in the ratings.
yeah.
And also doing good as far as the fandom goes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone really complain too much about it.
This is not how Batman was.
Obviously, it needs more Batman, but
yeah. We
that
haven't
aside,
seen Bruce Wayne for like 3 episodes. I would like.
I'm
to
kind of
point out.
glad about actually.
Yeah, me too.
However, a couple of those episodes, well, the last ones are good, but I hate when they start doing the more police drama episodes. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want
The whole-
I want another police drama.
Oh my gosh, I was just talking with my wife about that like a half an hour ago about how I do not like when they're like, oh, the cops are gonna turn on you, and you're like, oh, I don't care about the cops waffling back and forth with Jim Gordon anymore.
Yeah, you want to see Batman villains. You want to see their origins. You want to see where they get their start.
Yep.
Like right now, Penguin. Penguin is who? By the way, the guy that played him, fantastic job. Oh my gosh,
he played a good dead guy in Walking Dead too.
yeah, the guy that.
Well, not Walking Dead 2, in The Walking Dead.
In The
as
Walking
well.
Dead, yeah. The guy that plays Edward Nygma.
Oh yeah,
Great Riddler. And you can, and every time there's a scene with him and the other people he interacts with that isn't Jim Gordon,
yep,
you can see why he turns into a supervillain.
yeah. Like they all say something rude to him, and as he's walking away, he's got this look on his face, like I'm gonna
Get you. You're on my list.
You're beneath me.
And, so he's trying to woo the girl in Records, and she's a cute looks kind of nerdy.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, cool, they're gonna get together and be perfect together. Well, no, she thinks he's creepy.
Yeah,
and
she can't stand him.
He does have social problems.
Yeah, but he's not
He's
really
not very good at
adept.
it. But he means well. He's he brings her a cupcake with a bullet in it, and she's like, this is weird. This is scary.
And he's like, it's a riddle. It's like, this is what I do.
It's sweet and
The bullet's like biting, but the cupcake's sweet. It means you're beautiful or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was something weird. It was weird. It was completely weird. And she thought it was weird, and it made him very creepy.
Well, and when he explained it to her, she was like, "Oh, that's actually kind of nice." And then all of a sudden, the other guy that works in Records comes out. "Oh, you bugging her? Get away from her! You weirdo! You freak!" And then as he's walking away, she's like, "Yeah, that guy's creepy." I don't know if she was just doing that to join in with him or just in general.
Yeah.
But I turn to you and I go, "That's why he's going to become a supervillain."
I was right there with you.
People just treat him like crap. No, I don't think that he absolutely deserves a date or anything, but. Yes, he's socially awkward. However,
Everybody deserves a date, Scott.
I'm not saying that you are entitled to one.
Anyway,
don't say that. the crazy people will come in and get you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm married. They can't date me.
Oh, right.
You, however, are completely single.
Yeah. Dude.
Enjoy the crazies.
Yeah. Thank you for telling everyone I'm single.
You're welcome. If you'd like to date my brother,
Send an email to
actsofgeekery@gmail.com. Well,
but seriously, it's okay.
yeah. Just keep it yourself between this age range, this height. I like this color eyes the best. In fact, there's a form on the Facebook page.
Yeah,
Just-
if you fit within these parameters, please give me a call.
I like this better.
Back to Gotham.
Yep. The showrunner confirms that Red Hood is coming.
Red Hood.
Yes.
But that's Jason Todd.
Nope.
He's the one that gets killed by the Joker.
Yes,
and dies.
there is a character in the comics that was Robin, and that became the Red Hood, aka Jason Todd, aka the Red Hood. But there were at least 2 different Red Hoods before him.
Oh.
There's a mob boss that came before, that was first, who called himself the Red Hood. You know, to,
and they were all
inspire
numbered.
Fear.
I read a bunch of comics. They actually went over this. Batman Year One.
Mm-hmm.
They were numbered, and
That's right.
number 1 was the leader,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like number 13 or something killed him and took over. Well, that ended up being the Joker.
Yeah, number 13 was the Joker, who became the Red Hood. So we're gonna see kind of a cool. I'm not sure if that's like a second season thing or what.
Probably.
Um.
They've got to get through this first season
Yeah.
storyline.
Also, the Flash showrunners say that Grodd is coming soon.
Good.
Flash.
Good, because in the very first episode.
Yep, the very first episode.
They're walking through the tunnels of the super collider that exploded and gave everyone their powers.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, or the particle accelerator.
Yeah.
And you get to see a cage that's all bent and broken, and there's a nameplate on it, kind of half hanging off. It says Grodd.
That says Grodd. Yep.
And
They even had a flashback where, what's his name? Wells talks to Grodd.
Yeah.
And everything, and I cannot wait for
Grodd
that
doesn't
episode.
talk back.
Well,
but-
no. He's just like kind of like, I'm gonna get you out of here, buddy. You know, don't worry. I'm not gonna let the general take you away or whatever.
Yeah.
The general that was working on mind control, by the way, which Grodd is known for mind control.
Yes. He's a very powerful telepath.
So that's coming to. TV is so awesome right now.
TV is so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Flash mid-season premiere was great.
I heard the Arrow mid-season premiere is also awesome. I mean, I've got it.
Yeah,
we've got to
just haven't
go.
watched
Got to
it.
go watch it.
Yep.
But
We're
I'm
bad
excited for
geeks.
that. We just have no time.
Yeah, true.
We both just need to do this full time and not have to work, and then we can watch movies and TV shows and play video games. And
Well, that's a perfect time to announce our Patreon page.
no, not yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we'll wait then. Well, let's just talk about Age of Apocalypse.
Let's get 10 consistent listeners. Then we can do it.
At least 10 people emailing.
Yes, at least.
Age of Apocalypse, the gentleman who is going to be...
Next X-Men movie coming out.
So the gentleman who is going to be Apocalypse, which is going to be the bad guy, was talking about the villain, and he said that it was going to be a mixture of CGI elements and practical effect elements, which...
We like.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we love practical effects. That was one of our main complaints about, or at least for me, The Hobbit. Yeah, that all the orcs were all CGI.
Yeah,
and we liked the practical effects orcs better.
Yeah.
From the original trilogy.
Yeah, I wish they would have kept that. Oh well, say la vie. He also talked about how
La vie.
parts. Okay, thank you. He also talked about how parts of Apocalypse's suit are going to be robotic in origin.
Which is actually true.
And I think he talked a little bit about the powers of Apocalypse, but I didn't really. Oscar Isaacs, I think, is the guy's name, or Jason Isaacs, or something.
The actor or the real
the actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know. Anyway,
But that's cool.
yeah. And then we also have that J. Michael Straczynski, who is actually a fairly well-known writer.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's done a lot of TV shows or movies or anything, but he's done some stuff. Maybe he has done a lot of TV shows. I'm not sure. And I don't know how to spell the last name. Straczynski.
I'll just try Stra. And
Stra-
right there. Oh, he wrote Thor.
2011. Yeah. Okay. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't write it. He just helped write it. There's always a couple. World War Z.
Okay.
Did Babylon 5 a little bit. It looks like, which is cool. Underworld Awakening, if you like the Underworld stuff.
Ninja Assassin.
Oh, Jeremiah is actually a pretty good TV show. Kind of a post-apocalyptic thing. It's going on.
Yeah, so he did Babylon 5, Murder, She Wrote. He did some episodes there. Okay, so he's done...
Jake and the Fat Man.
Yep.
Isn't that the guy that has the problem with Danishes?
Yep, that is that Family Guy joke. You didn't actually know that there was a Jake and the Fat Man, did you? Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
He did some Twilight Zone stuff, which is cool.
She-Ra, Princess of Power.
He-Man.
He did He-Man episodes. This guy's awesome.
Okay.
All right.
But anyways, what about him?
Well, he is going to be writing the Red Mars series for Spike TV. We talked a little bit about the Red Mars series in a previous podcast, but it's a famous science fiction... Oh, hey, this relates to Mars. Talking about the colonization of Mars and the terraforming of it.
Cool.
And all that whole process. It goes like Red Mars, Green Mars, and then Blue Mars is the...
Oh, yeah,
the
it
series.
was based off of books.
Yeah.
And I remember adding them to my wish list right as we were talking about them. Yes.
Yep. So he is going to be writing that for Spike TV.
Cool.
A lot of good sci-fi shows coming out from cable shows.
Yeah, I'm
cable
surprised.
networks.
There's like 3 on Syfy.
Yeah, I can't even remember them all, but that usually happens. So
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to get into a little sub-segment of the news I like to call casting news.
Casting news
And casting
possible
rumors.
rumors.
Yep. We're going to start, and I kind of group these all together because it's just easier than just throwing them wherever in the news. We're going to start with Karl Urban.
Oh, we love Karl
Oh,
Urban.
yes, we do. He's great in pretty much everything he does.
He was
Judge
Dredd, and he was the best Judge Dredd. And I will
So good.
argue with anyone that thinks that Sylvester Stallone played a good Judge Dredd. No, he took his helmet off. Right there, he just ruined the character.
Yep.
The character never takes his helmet off,
Yep.
at least that you see.
And you know what? Taking the helmet off is not an improvement for Sylvester Stallone.
It's not. But Karl Urban,
Yeah.
I remember him
He's
talking
a
about
handsome
this.
man, first of all.
Yeah, he is.
So
I
taking
remember
the helmet off would be okay for him.
I remember him talking about this, and he said, I have read, when they told me for this role, I went and bought Judge Dredd comic, and I read them, and he never takes his helmet off. That is part of his mythos, is no one knows what he really looks like.
Yeah.
Not even the people that hired him know what he looks like.
Yeah, he just
He is just
showed
one of
up
the
with
judges.
the helmet. He was born with the helmet on.
Pretty much. And so he said, I want to play that part right, and I want to make sure that my helmet never comes off during the movie. And that is awesome. Like, first of all, geek cred right there for doing that. He was Bones in the new Star Trek reboot.
I mean, yeah, and he channeled DeForest Kelly.
It
completely.
was DeForest Kelly reincarnated into Karl Urban.
It was crazy.
Yes, he did.
We just watched the
job.
2009 Star Trek. I know we watched it out of order, but he was probably my favorite part of that entire show.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's one of the writers of Rohan in the Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and Return of the King. He's the cousin or whatever. I don't even know.
Fantasy name. Insert fantasy name here.
Yeah, exactly. He's the one who kills the elephant guy with the one spear. Like he's on the horse and he like twirls the spear and chucks it and kills the guy and causes like 3 elephants to collapse into each other.
And he also played a bad guy in Priest.
Yep, he was a bad guy.
He was kind of like a half human, half vampire hybrid thing. And granted, the movie wasn't that good, but he played a good part in it.
And
because
that's
isn't
the thing
Priest Paul I think Paul Bettany was the main
Paul
character.
Bettany is Priest.
Yeah, he is the priest.
But anyway, he is up for a possible villain role in the Aquaman movie. Ocean Master.
Yeah,
that's what we're hoping for.
That is who we're hoping for.
Aquaman's brother, if I'm not mistaken.
Orm is his real name. He is the... How do I say this politely? You know what? I'm not going to say it politely. He is the non-bastard child of the king and queen.
All right.
Aquaman
The
was...
rightful heir.
Yes, Aquaman came from a human dude up on land. He was a lighthouse keeper, and his mom was the queen of Atlantis.
Yeah.
And she didn't have an affair because the king was already dead.
She's just kind of like, I'm lonely.
She's like, I'm lonely, and then she goes up and sleeps with the lighthouse keeper, which weird. I don't know.
Come on, lady. There's plenty of fish in the sea. You have to go up on land.
Yeah. No, they're saying it's not. There's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of like rats on land or something like that.
Mammals on the land.
Plenty of mammals on the land. But yeah, so
she took that literally.
And so she goes up, sleeps with him. 9 months later, however long Atlanteans gestate, pops out Aquaman.
Yep.
And sends us in a water burrow. She's like a torpedo. Boo, pew. And and they have radar. Boo, boo. Takes him back up to be raised on land. So he's basically a child of two worlds, but not of really either. Orm, however, is the real son of both the king of Atlantis and the queen before the king is dead.
Yeah.
But he's Aquaman's half brother because, from different parents.
Yeah.
So
let's hope it's Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Carl Urban and Jason Momoa are like,
a lot of people are like, "Oh, make him be Black Manta." One, Black Manta never takes his helmet off, so you barely know who he is. And two,
Dread.
and two, he's a black guy.
Yeah, Black Manta's African American.
Yes.
Speaking of African Americans, I know this is not.
He could play a shark. Maybe he's gonna be motion capture like Evil Shark. I don't know. We don't know.
So,
that's why this is all rumor.
Scott, have you ever heard of Tyrese Gibson?
Yeah, he played the black guy in Fast and Furious 2. You first see him in a demolition derby, and then
he's in Transformers as well.
Yeah, that's right. He is.
Yep.
But that doesn't really give movie cred to him. So Yeah,
let's see. Looks like he's in Fast and the Furious Supercharged
and 6.
Furious 7. He's
in Fast and Furious 6. Say what?
Eeps. Oh, he's the black soldier in Transformers. That's really racist. That's all we identify him as, the black, etc.
Well, I think people know who he is.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's been.
You see a picture and you go, "Oh yeah,
yeah." Well, he is. He has come out and said, apparently, the rumor floating around is that I might be Green Lantern for the Justice League movie.
John Stewart.
Yep, and I am okay with that. He looks like a fine John Stewart.
I have to see him. I've never seen him in a role where he didn't play a semi-comedic person. In all the Fast and Furious movies, he's not serious at all.
That's true.
He makes jokes all the time.
He's a little bit serious in Transformers.
Sorta. But he. It's only when they're like in the middle of a fight. Otherwise, he's
and John Stewart is kind of the straight man.
He was a military guy.
Yeah, he's a military man.
And,
so
he's not a very jokey person.
Yeah.
However, that personality fits more towards Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Or Guy Gardner than it does John Stewart.
That'd be an interesting twist. He's Guy Gardner.
No. I don't know who would be Guy Gardner, but they better cast him perfectly. You take that back, or I'm going to... microphone. You're going to eat that microphone.
Warner Brothers, please do not listen to this podcast for at least the last 30 seconds.
You take that back.
We also have that Jake Gyllenhaal... I didn't know how to spell his name there. Turned down Rick Flag for the Suicide
Squad.
Gyllenhaal.
Okay. Turned down Rick Flag.
Yep, for the Suicide Squad movie.
So I saw something on the news sites today about who they might get.
So they're looking at, let's see here.
Joel Edgerton,
which was in Warrior with Tom Hardy.
Okay. Yeah, but he's got kind of a really lazy eye.
Yeah.
He's got Forrest Whitaker eye.
Or John Bernthal, who played Shane in AMC's Walking Dead.
Okay.
And then this third person that you're seeing here is Joe Manganiello, who is in True Blood.
The wolf.
Yep, he's a werewolf in True Blood, and he also plays Flash Thompson in the original trilogy for Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, that's right.
And he is up for the role of Deathstroke.
Ooh.
And I am okay seeing him. First of all, he looks like Manu Bennett.
Yeah, and a lot of people will not like it because he's not Manu Bennett. But
you should just get Manu Bennett if you want somebody who looks like him.
Sorry, you can't.
No.
Technically, Manu Bennett doesn't really look like the real Deathstroke.
True.
He needs way wider hair.
Yeah.
His hair in the comics, his hair is almost like pure white.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's old, but he's been super soldierized. Mirakurud.
Oh my gosh. Mirakuru. The worst thing in the world for Arrow. All right, Scott. I want you to take a look at this girl. What do you think of her?
She's cute.
Yeah?
Blue
Yeah.
eyes.
Brown hair.
Little skinny girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a girlish look to her.
Now, why are we?
This is
doing
Melissa Benoist.
Okay.
I believe is how you pronounce her last name. She is an actress on Glee.
26.
Mm-hmm. She's in Whiplash, which apparently is a movie.
She was Marley Rose in Glee. I don't know who that is, but I know a couple people that listen to this will know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing. Glee's actually not that bad of a show.
No, it's just it's a musical.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's done in the right way. The right kind of musical. It's not singy music.
Yeah, true.
It's not sing-talky.
Yeah. But she is going to be Supergirl. She has been cast in CBS's series.
Oh, that's interesting.
So what do you think of her now?
I mean, she's attractive.
Give her blonde hair. You think she'll be good for the role?
I'm curious to see. I'm going to see someone will go out there and they will Photoshop.
I'm sure
blonde
they
hair,
already have.
And we'll be able to see and Photoshop, like Supergirl's outfit on her or whatever. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Let's see here in images if somebody's done this.
There's a lot of comparison images I saw, and she looks pretty close to her.
Yeah, I think she can do the part justice. So we were both kind of
I hope
for
they do.
Gemma Atkinson, which we talked about.
I really hope they do blonde hair though.
I think they'd have to.
If they
Is that?
If they don't do the blonde hair, that's weird. Sorry, Supergirl's had blonde hair since her iteration.
Yeah,
she should
exactly.
have it in a TV show. Don't try to be different. Don't try to be,
We're going to reinvent the character by making them a different color than what they are.
Now,
Is that what you're saying?
you brought up a good point with her and Gemma Atkinson. So we talked about Gemma Atkinson before,
Where
she was
she's-
a British model, and she's been in some British TV shows, and she was up as a rumor for
Yeah.
Supergirl. However,
And
she didn't. She's very, very attractive.
so very attractive.
But she doesn't fit the part of Supergirl.
Exactly.
Supergirl's more of got a teenage
yeah, she's kind
body
of
type.
I would say
and-
she's the girl next door.
yeah.
She's pretty, but she's not like, oh my gosh, drop dead gorgeous. I want to watch her all
She
the
doesn't
time.
have that Jessica Rabbit body style.
Yeah. However, Power Girl,
Which is the adult version of Supergirl.
from an alternate universe, has this style. And if they get Gemma Atkinson for that role, like it opens her up. So it's good and bad at the same time.
Yeah. So I'm reserving judgment.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing bad about it is just hair color. Just change.
Yeah.
As long as they change the hair color, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, when
And I don't know how she
people wear
she
wigs.
can act. I have no idea. I've never seen her in Glee. I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I would look up something, but I don't want to look up anything that has to do with Glee.
True.
All right. I believe that is all the cast. Oh, nope. Nope. I have one more bit of casting news. The big one, X-Men Age of Apocalypse, going back to them, has announced 3 actors to replace 3 of their main X-Men roles.
Okay.
The role of Storm, the role of Jean Grey,
Finally.
and the role of Cyclops. Now, these are younger actors playing these.
Because it's set in the first class, the 70s, 80s, and so they will have to be younger.
So we're going to start out with Alexandra Shipp, who is best known for playing KT Rush on the show House of Anubis. Never heard of it before.
Okay.
She will be playing Storm. And looking at the picture between the two of them, yes, she looks like Storm.
She looks fine.
Yeah, she looks actually really good for the role.
Looks better than Halle Berry did.
I'm excited for that.
And won't take much to act better than Halle Berry because she's not a very good actress.
Yeah. Then we have Ty Sheridan, who starred alongside Matthew McConaughey in a movie called Mud.
Never seen it.
I've heard of it in passing. Let's see if he's been in anything that we do know about.
Ty Sheridan. He looks familiar,
Yeah, he's kind of got one of those faces.
but he's
Tree of
a
Life,
child
Joe.
actor.
Scouts versus Zombies.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
He's been in a couple episodes of Last Man Standing, which is probably where you saw him from.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the boyfriend in that.
But he plays Ellis on Mud, for those of you who are wondering what he does. But he's going to be Cyclops.
Oh, okay.
And then the one that
all he has to do is make us hate him.
Yeah.
They should have got the kid that played Joffrey.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that would have worked really well because the girl who is playing Jean Grey is
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner, who plays Sansa Stark on Game of Thrones. And Joffrey's on-again, off-again girlfriend.
In Game of Thrones, she drives me crazy because she's a naive girl, and that's her character.
Until like the last episode you saw her in.
And she's kind of dumb in the show, you know. However, I've seen her outside the show and like watched her in interviews and stuff. She's actually a very bright girl.
Yeah.
She's very, very bright. And I keep saying girl. She's a woman. She's like 22.
Oh, okay.
Or not that. She's like 21 something.
So this was the only one my wife had a problem with.
Really?
Like the other two I showed her and she's like, oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. Oh, I like Famke Janssen, though.
I did too.
Jansen. Not Janskin. That name.
She was a good casting choice. But, I mean, like you said, they got to be younger. Famke does not look young. Famke looks in her 40s.
Unfortunately not.
So, yeah, they're going to have to do that, which is fine.
Well, then that is the last little bit of casting news for you.
All right. Well, let's get into like TV news. I know we talked about the Mars one from Spike TV, and that's fine. But we are getting a premiere date for Powers,
which is we've reviewed the trailer. We've let you know what that is out there.
It has the guy
who can't decide
on his accent. Well, at least in Maleficent,
yes.
But he's from South Africa. I can't remember his name.
He's in District 9. He's the main character in District 9.
Yeah.
And he is the main character in he's the main bad guy in Elysium, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So the original comic Powers is by Brian Michael Bendis.
Great.
Apparently it's fantastic. I definitely want to read it. It's going to be on the PlayStation Network.
That's the problem, is because you have to have the PlayStation.
There's no problem.
There is a problem. We do not want to incriminate anybody on this podcast.
I don't really care too much about PlayStation and Sony right now. They can't keep their stuff secured. So if someone hacks them, and decides to put out Powers on the internet, fine.
By the way, what am I thinking here? The Interview is on Netflix
I was going to get to that in a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Other news. Anyways, Powers comes out March 10th. And it'll be released the full season free if you have PlayStation Plus. I don't recommend it, but I guarantee you there will be a way to watch it somewhere else online.
And the guy's name is Charlton Copley.
Yeah, Charlton Copley. He used to have powers, at least in the show. He used to have superpowers, got them taken away. And now he's a cop working with the government.
Like a washed-up detective working to
find all of these other powers that are... They call them powers. They're superheroes.
Or that are corrupt.
Yeah, not even superheroes. They're people with superpowers. So that I'm excited for that. March 10th, we should set a alarm.
A reminder.
So we don't forget that. Yeah. But that's cool. And so we might as well go into it. Yeah. Netflix now has The Interview.
Yeah.
Which was the... one that had the big controversy a little while ago about not being released in theaters.
Now you can watch
Sony's
it
getting death threats. And I don't know what it is, but we're going to watch it this week, and hopefully we can review it next podcast.
Absolutely.
So some other news. Cory, have you ever heard of the X-Files?
I think I have heard of the X-Files.
I mean,
it's just main one of those... theme song used to scare the crap out of me. I know that much.
I used to have it as a ringtone, and you hated it because you were like, no. But they are getting a reboot.
Yep. Some of the showrunners or some of like the main executives at Fox were talking about rebooting not only the X-Files, but Prison Break was the other one.
Okay.
That they were talking about.
I don't really care about that one.
Yeah, but I mean, X-Files, everybody freaked out when they started talking about that. And it turns out, yes, it's happening. So
that's awesome. And I don't know if it's going to be... So apparently this was leaked by Gillian Anderson, which has played Scully in the original one. And I don't know if it's going to bring back...
Oh, on the Nerdist podcast. Don't go listen to them. Listen to us instead.
Unless you want to try to figure out a way to have them drop a line for us. That'd be cool, too. But Gillian Anderson, David Duchovny played Mulder and Scully, and not in those orders, of course. but I don't know if that's going to be them. So that's cool, though. I'm excited because I never got into the original X-Files. It was a little, how do I want to say it? A little meta or a little...
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and it's not weird like Twilight Zone or The Outer Limits weird.
You know what's better than X-Files? Fringe.
Fringe?
Fringe is a better
Yeah.
X-Files than X-Files.
Yeah,
in
you're
my
right.
Opinion.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched Fringe, it's fantastic.
Super good show.
I mean, come on, Walter.
John Noble.
John Noble's
Amazing.
great actor.
Yeah.
But that's cool that they're doing a reboot.
Yep.
Some people were like, oh, if X-Files get a reboot, does that mean we're going to get a reboot of Firefly? No. Let it go. I'm sorry. It won't be a reboot. At the very most, it won't even be a season 2 or anything like that because Wash is gone. I mean, I'm sorry, he's dead.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, it came out in 2006.
I know.
I think it's good enough.
I know, we're good.
It will be probably like a side story. It won't be the same crew. It won't be the same actors. It'll be a totally different thing, which is kind of cool because we saw that fan film a little while ago.
If they ever bring it back.
And we were thinking that was cool. I don't think I have any other TV news.
Nope.
So.
I got a little bit of movie news.
All right.
Just talking about people who ruined our childhoods a little bit earlier, including George Lucas.
Yeah.
Apparently, George Lucas came out and said that they wouldn't include his ideas for The Force Awakens, and he was upset about it.
Oh, boo-hoo. Lucas, go cry into your big pile of money.
$4.6 billion.
Yeah, 4.06
Ugh.
from Disney.
Ugh.
That's how much they bought Lucasfilm for, or at least the rights to it.
I'm glad that they decided not to take Lucas's ideas.
Yeah, because he said he'd actually begun development on it and realized that it would be at least 10 years of commitment time. He didn't intentionally, he's like, I don't have time to finish that.
Yeah.
So, you know what? That's fine. Because I'm sure that the director, Abrams, and Disney looked at his notes and his stuff and was like, this is all garbage. Nope, throwing this all out. Because we talked about a script earlier.
Yep.
And they didn't want to use a script either. Well, yeah, because it probably sucked. He ruined Star Wars, guys. You may like the prequels, but they weren't that good. No, at all.
They weren't that good.
They were. Jar Jar Binks. There's nothing good about that, and he ruined the whole.
Nope.
Anyways, but we're glad that he's not. Disney's not using ideas. I could go into like an entire podcast of why
I think we have
why
before.
I hate George Lucas, his reboot Star Wars. He even ruined the old ones. By remastering and making it so Greedo shot first. No.
Han shot first.
Always.
We just hate him so much.
So
much. All right, I got one last news story for you. Apparently, some scientists have decided in their search for AI...
don't do it. AI, it's always a trap.
Yeah. They have created a Mario that learns and has feelings. So I saw
like
this.
like feeling pain, like when he jumps and hits a block, he's like, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, it's kind of like he reacts to things and tells people how he feels. So this is a really interesting little thing for me. They're talking about.
Well, why Mario?
I don't know.
I
don't because the scientists want to have fun.
Okay, that's cool.
So Mario starts out with the knowledge about his body and then adds additional context to his knowledge base as he learns. He also maintains emotive states which can be influenced by both the environment and by voice commands given to the user. For example, when the character was told not to be so happy, he responded in a computer-generated voice, "Somehow I feel less happy." So he has a large variety of sentences, but he can also be taught.
That's it. Mario is Skynet.
Yep, Mario is Skynet.
We're all screwed.
So they're just these scientists that I guess they're like, you know what, if we have to make an artificial intelligence, let's bring life to Mario because we loved Mario growing up. What they're going to do next is they're actually going to make a Luigi. And they're going to try and make it so that they can talk and communicate and learn from one another as well.
This is kind of creepy, actually. They say he can be told if you jump on a Goomba dies, but he can also learn from experience. So in the video, he's asked to jump on the Goomba and report back what he learns. And so he jumps on it, lands on it, and goes, if I jump on a Goomba, then he certainly dies. Huh. Cool, but creepy.
Yes.
But cool.
Yes, but creepy.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. All right, well, there you go. There's Mario. Maybe they'll create a Mario like robot or toy or something.
This is all, you know what this is all just leading towards? Better versions of those Japanese hollow singers so that they can actually communicate with the audience.
Yeah, no kidding. You suck. Be quiet.
The crazy uncanny valley stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's going to do it for the news, so let's go ahead and get on into our reviews.
It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
That's right, it's time for our reviews.
Yeah, we actually got a couple today.
Yeah. I will review one that I saw, you will review one that you saw, and then we'll review one that we both saw together.
Okay.
Because,
sounds good.
My wife and I went out and watched Strange Magic on Friday.
And left me alone.
Well, that's because you didn't want to see Strange Magic.
That's true, because it is a musical.
And it is a musical. So Strange Magic...
And racist.
Not really, actually.
Oh.
We'll get into that in a moment. Strange Magic is an animated film from the mind of George Lucas and Lucasfilms. It is not actually directed by George Lucas. It's directed by somebody else. It's just kind of they just slapped his name on there. I think he's like an executive producer or something like that. And what it is, it's a story about two different kingdoms. One is the kingdom of the fairies and elves and everything, and it's all
the good guys.
Yeah, the good guys. And then the kingdom of the goblins and the insectoid creature things, the bad guys.
I want to see a movie at one time when you find out parts of the way through the movie that the good guy, the quote good guys, the elves and stuff, have actually been suppressing the bad guys the whole time. Like they have been doing horrible things to them. And you find out that the quote bad guys are actually good.
Kind of what happens in this movie.
Okay.
It turns out that it's just two different groups of people. This movie is based on a Shakespeare story, actually, a Shakespeare play, Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay. All right.
It has pretty good cast members in it. Evan Rachel Wood from Across the Universe is in it. They've got, what's her name? Yeah, I'm gonna look this up here really quick. Alfred Molina is in it as the main, like the king of the or the king of the fairies. Let's see, what was her name? Kristen Chenoweth is in it, and she's been in Pushing Daisies. She's been in Glee
Alfred
before.
Molina's not in there.
There's a full cast list.
Oh.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph is in this.
That's the full cast list. Alan Cumming. That's what you're thinking of.
No. Alfred Molina's in here. They just don't have him for some reason.
Okay. Anyway,
that's weird. Anyway, so the story is two sisters that are fairies. One is going to get married. Turns out that the perfect man for her, that she's completely in love with, is cheating on her. So she goes from being the princess and heir to the throne. I mean, he's cheating on her, and he wants an army and to rule the kingdom. And
right,
blah, blah, blah.
right.
He is the bad guy.
Typical royal bad guy.
Yep. She goes from being this kind of princess who finds her way into the bad side of town at one point and gets terrified, basically. Well, she starts training, and she determines that she's only going to rely on herself and take care of her and her sister.
Okay.
Well, her sister is a naive girl who's very flirtatious, and she has a best friend who's an elf, which elves are like they're the shorter race, and they don't have wings. They're kind of like the servants, for the fairies.
Okay.
And this elf is the black character, the one that you think is racist, who's actually not that racist.
Well, in the trailers, he comes across.
Across as super racist, but he's not actually that racist, from what I can tell. Well, he loves her, and they kind of got that whole friend zone thing going on.
Yeah.
So he goes to the dark forest and convinces somebody to make him a love potion. Well, things kind of go awry, and the evil king of the Dark Forest, the Bog King, isn't very happy, and he kidnaps people. It's a really interesting story, but what it does is it takes modern day love songs, or not just modern day, like there's an army marching and they're singing Bad Romance, just the beginning part. As they're marching, they're going ma 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 over and over again.
All right.
And it kind of incorporates these musical elements throughout the story. It's not bad. At times it's very jarring though, because again, the Bog King will be talking and then all of a sudden he'll start singing, and he's got, his are all kind of rock power ballads and everything.
Yeah.
And he's got a really good voice, but it's kind of like, okay, I don't really want singing here.
and again, you're just telling every reason why I don't like musicals.
Yeah.
So.
The voice work is great. They got great people playing everything. The jokes are funny. The animation is beautiful, but the singing really throws it off and kind of throws your rhythm out.
Okay.
You feel like something's wrong and you can't really put your finger on it. So all in all, I give it 3 out of 5.
All right.
It's not a great movie. It's not a really bad movie. It's okay. And
if you like musicals in general, you probably will be okay.
And I will tell you this, I probably am giving it a higher rating because the evil, the Dark Forest creatures, the goblins and everything,
right,
very reminiscent of Jim Henson puppets.
Okay.
Done in an animated style, and like you look at them and you're like, wow, that looks like Henson animation, and it looks like Henson puppetry. So that might have affected my score a little bit.
All right. So my review is The Mazerunner. It came out in 2014. It's one that we actually did not go see.
Yep.
Based off of the book, The Mazerunner.
We put it in the fantasy category, but it's actually science fiction.
Yeah, it is science fiction, and that was actually kind of surprising. That's one thing that I did like about it. So the basic plot is there's a group of guys, or boys, actually, because they're all younger than like 18, living in the middle of a giant maze. Right in the center, and they have to, every day doors open up, and they send runners out that run the maze, and they memorize it, and they figure out all the different paths and stuff. And then every night they have to try to make it back before the doors close again,
because there's things that attack them at night.
Because there are these giant mechanical bugs that attack them and sting them and stuff. They have like scorpions' tails and crazy robot legs and stuff. You'd like it. It's pretty cool. But the main character, which is played by Dylan O'Brien, his name is Thomas. And I'm going to say the names. I'm going to tell you where they're from, because they're all child actors.
Yeah.
You're going to
right now, I'm not liking the show.
You're going to recognize a couple of them, and you're going to go, "Oh, I have seen him before in such and such." But it's not going to be one of those things where, like Will Poulter, he played in The Millers.
Yeah, We're the Millers.
He was the boy in We're the Millers. But so they're all child actors, but they're not 10-year-olds. I think most of these kids are actually in their probably. Well, they're 20s.
1991, yeah. Well,
so
they're
23.
24.
The main character's 23, but he plays like a 16-year-old or whatever. So he comes up and everything starts changing. The doors end up staying open. The bugs come out and attack. The bugs attack during the day in the maze. And it's like all this stuff just starts going nuts.
And, of course, they blame him for it.
Yeah, and because it's basically like, it's like Lord of the Flies in the middle of a maze.
Okay,
like they get lost. So they get lost on in the middle of this area. At least Lord of the Flies, they know who they are. These guys, their memories are all wiped. And basically, it's just a lot of them. There's quite a bit of like arguing back and forth between the characters. There's some action in the maze and stuff. And he's the first one to ever be out after dark with the maze doors closed. And when they open back up, he comes back, and everyone's like, holy crap. And you get to see how he survives.
Yeah.
But he's the very first one to ever survive. So,
and they drop a girl into the middle of it.
Yeah, a girl ends up coming in. It's the first time that a girl has ever gone into it.
And of course, that's going to throw a wrench into things with a bunch of teenage boys.
Actually, it has nothing. There's not a single like love story in it.
Really?
So in the book, the main character, the boy, and the girl actually have a telepathic link between each other.
Really?
Yeah, they've been tested on and stuff, and they have this telepathic link between each other. But there's no love story, which right there, cool. I hate trying to sound like the typical guy. I hate love stories. No, not always. There's love stories and stuff that do work. Okay. And that's what I expected. I expected it's a guy and a girl comes up and there's all this lovey-dovey. No,
that's exactly what I expected.
Not at all.
Too,
not a single bit. They don't even act like they like each other.
Huh.
They don't
just glance at each other at any point.
I mean, he goes after her and saves her, but only because he remembers her from the past.
Yeah.
So they have to find their way out of this maze, and they come out, and eventually, and this is all spoilery. I'm so sorry that I didn't give that warning ahead of time, and I'm trying not to spoil it too much without giving away the whole movie.
Yeah.
But they get out of the maze, and they find out that everything is not what they thought it was. The world is pretty much in ruin. Mm-hmm. It's nothing but sand.
Ugh.
Solar flares cropped up and cooked everything off the earth, basically.
Oh, wow.
There's still people alive, but all the plant life died and the water dried up and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it leads into the next book. At the end of it, I'm not sure what the next.
I think it's called Sand City or something like that.
Possibly. Scorched Trials.
Scorched Trials.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That is nothing like Sand City.
No. But I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Did the child acting bug you?
No. They were really good.
Okay.
Most of these aren't children, though.
Yeah,
most of the
true.
there's one or two. This kid, he plays a 12-year-old, and he's actually about that age.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, so that's one thing that I knew you'd be like, oh, child actors, I hate them so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I was surprised. A lot of these guys are really good, and there's not a lot of. It's more actiony and holy crap, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
Then let's just chit chat a lot. I mean, but it is kind of reminiscent of Lord of the Flies to me, where a group of boys gets together, and at first everything's peaceful, and then all of a sudden stuff starts going all crazy, and pretty soon they all,
hate each other.
They hate each other. They branch off into two groups, that kind of stuff. So, and the fat kid dies always.
That's a huge spoiler.
I don't know why they got to kill off the fat kid. I don't get it. In every TV show like that, little fat kid.
What do you got against fat kids, Hollywood?
Everything.
But
I'm actually going to give it 3.5 out of 5 geek cards.
All right.
I don't think it's that good, but it's a decent movie. Mm-hmm. And being sci-fi, I thought it was a surprise. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be fantasy, and I was like, great, it's going to be Pan's Labyrinth, but this is the other side of the story, type of thing. And no, it's actually sci-fi, and it's kind of futuristic technology, and some crazy stuff happens. Right. Although I'm looking at it, and there's this one part where he walks over the wall, and there's all these names carved into the wall with a regular knife. Yeah, it's a hunting knife, so it's 6-7 inches long, and they use another rock and they chisel names into the rock. Well, if the rock is that weak to be able to chisel into it pretty easily, and they show how easily they're able to cross the names off once the kids die, carve handholds and climb up to the top and see what the heck's going on. Yeah, it's 50 feet up in the air, but you know what?
Nobody said they were bright kids.
That's true. They weren't. So, because at one point he goes, why hasn't anyone ever tried to climb up the wall? Mm-hmm. And the one guy's like, we tried, but the ivy doesn't grow all the way up. Then build a ladder that goes, or a rope with a hook on it, or something, you dummies. But so there was a couple things that, of course, they have to do it for the plot. I'm sure the book probably explains a lot better, because in the book,
kind of sounds like the book would be a little bit better.
In the book, you find out that there's these little tiny bugs that are surveillance bugs, and they watch the kids all the time. And when the kids start doing something that would help them escape or whatever, as part of whatever reason they're in the maze for, they stop that. They take away that particular thing, or they, they'll wake up in the morning and all of a sudden all of their rope is gone, and they're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, it's a 3.5 out of 5. And I'd watch it again.
Okay. You might have to, because I kind of am interested. So
and we'll watch it, and probably go see the Scorched Trials when they come out. Because I think that comes out this year.
Next year.
Is it really next year? 2015? No, it comes out this year.
But it's filming right now. It's weird.
Filming. Yeah. But it might come out in September. So.
All right.
Well, yeah. So there you go.
Okay. Well, and then the movie we went and saw today together was Mortdecai.
Mortdecai.
Which that is spelled wrong, actually.
Oh, I know. But that's fine.
Okay. So Mortdecai is a R-rated comedy. Starring Johnny Depp as Charlie Mortdecai. Nope.
Type in Johnny Depp. Whoops. I said type in Johnny Depp.
Jeez.
Stop trying to spell... There we go.
All right, let's see. Mortdecai. All right, so Mortdecai, Charlie Mortdecai, played by Johnny Depp, is a artist. Or not an artist.
Art dealer.
Art dealer. A black market art dealer for the most part.
Yeah, well, maybe not all the time, but he deals with the black market, the art underworld, which to me, I'm like,
It's not really that bad.
It doesn't really scare me at all. It's not like the drug underworld or anything. I'm like, art?
And he happens to be from a long line of British Mortdecais or whatever, and he's rich, but he's broke.
And eccentric.
And very eccentric. And very, very kooky.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that was Paul Bettany?
For some reason, I did not put two and two together. He has a manservant named Jock, played by Paul Bettany, which I didn't. For some reason, I did not. It's because he's not albino.
Yeah.
He's not albino, and he's not talking to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know who he is?
You're right.
Because even in Priest, he's pretty white.
Yeah,
they
that's true.
Got him kind of white.
And speaking of Tony Stark and Iron Man, Gwyneth Paltrow is also in this movie as
Pepper Potts.
Mordecai's. She's not Pepper Potts in this movie.
I know.
She's Mordecai's
wife,
Joanna.
Yes.
It's also got Ewan McGregor, Olivia Munn, Jeff Goldblum's in it for a little bit. And it's all about Mordecai trying to
find a painting
for the British MI5.
Which
not
is
as cool as MI6.
Yeah, definitely not as cool as MI6. MI6 is doing the actual real important stuff, not dealing with the art world.
It's an R-rated comedy. So if you are not...
Which is disappointing.
Yeah, because it really didn't feel like it should have been R-rated.
It should have been PG-13 at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they said the F word twice, I think.
I think they... Actually, I only heard it once. No, it was twice.
Yeah.
F word twice, and then I think the other reason why they would have given it is because at one point they have a flashback where Ewan McGregor opens up a college dorm room and Gwyneth Paltrow is topless on top of Johnny Depp's character in a bed.
Yeah, and there's innuendos.
Yep.
Paul Bettany's character apparently can always find time to go sleep with a woman. It's hilarious. Like in the middle of like a fight scene, or they're
on a crowded plane to America.
Airplane, yes.
And he comes out, and then this girl comes out a few minutes later, and then she walks back to her family and picks up her baby boy.
Yeah. So that's why it got the rated R.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that bad. I mean,
it definitely wasn't that bad.
I didn't look at it and go, man, that was woo.
It was comedic. I thought some of the jokes fell flat. There were a few times where I was like busting up laughing.
Yeah, and I was right there with you too. Pretty much the same jokes we both laughed at, and the ones we didn't laugh at, we both sat there and went,
okay.
Yeah, that was a joke. Whatever.
But it wasn't bad.
It's because
it was funny.
A lot of it was dry British humor. And
that kind of snarky.
Yeah, which I I made this link on the way home. I said it's already been done.
Yep.
Mordecai's been done before.
It's
Pink Panther.
It's
Mr. Magoo. Mr. Bean. It's kind of all the same thing.
Yeah.
Only this one's rated R, and it didn't even use that rating to its advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it was PG-13, and then they added just a few things to push it over to R, but not enough to make it worthwhile to be R. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. He's an art dealer. Else. He gets consigned basically by the MI5 to track down art piece in the underworld. That's because there's been people that have died over it and stuff.
Yeah, if you like to see Johnny Depp acting in a crazy role,
go see him in anything else.
Well, I mean, like, and you've already seen everything else.
Okay.
If you're a Johnny Depp fanatic and you love how the crazy roles he plays, you're gonna like this movie. He was fine in it.
True.
But I'd give it 2.5.
Yeah, I think I'm 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 out of 5 because I don't know. I think Gwyneth Paltrow actually played a better part than Johnny Depp did.
Yeah, I liked her character. I wish we would have
And
spent
of course,
more time there.
Paul Bettany was the best of the whole
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
You know, he gets shot in the hand, and he's like, "Oh," and Mortdecai goes, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And he's like,
"Don't worry, sir.
I've got another." You know,
and then he punches some guy in the face with his other arm.
Yeah, and every time anything bad happens to him, he's like, "It's always a pleasure to serve," or whatever. You know, always a pleasure, sir.
Like, there's one point where he's gonna get his finger chopped off, and Mordecai's like, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "It's all right, sir. I have 9 more."
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of all there is. I mean, Olivia Munn's really hot in it.
Well, yeah, she's.
You know, she plays a nymphomaniac American because apparently that's how the British see us.
Yeah, like their whole take on American culture was kind of weird. So
yeah, was it directed by someone that was British?
I don't know.
No, from Wisconsin. Interesting.
Well, and the thing is, it was based on a book, by the way.
Oh, okay. That's why the book was probably written by someone from Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the jokes in the book are probably hilarious
for
to people across the pond, but we don't really. That's not American humor, and it's not saying that our humor is better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah, it is different.
We find different things funny.
It's the reason why not everything is funny for a show like Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
You know, or a show like Red Dwarf is a great show, but even there's episodes of that where we're sitting there and we're like, I don't get this joke.
Yeah. Or Doctor Who is probably a little more relevant than Red Dwarf at the moment.
Well, you know what?
No, and I'm not.
Red Dwarf needs to make a comeback then.
I agree because I thought it was pretty good. But Doctor Who has a lot of. Apparently, there's a lot of like fairly comedic parts in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I don't really catch it because I'm not British. I don't really understand that Sally humor and. No,
it's like,
and maybe
even
if I do understand it, I really just don't find it funny.
It's like anime. It's got a certain comedic style that we just don't get all the time.
Harrowing back to Benny Hill. Mm-hmm. You know, every time they played the
and we make fun of that.
We make fun of it, but I don't watch it on TV and go ha ha unless it's done ironically for some reason. I'm a Benny Hill hipster.
Benny Hill hipster.
I'm gonna say that Benny Hill hipster. But yeah, the movie was okay.
Go see it or don't.
Go see it or don't. Yeah, it's kind of really. And it's sad that there's right now. Our movie selections kind of suck.
Yeah, and then as soon as it hits February, it's like exploding with movies.
Which, there's another thing coming up. So next week, what are we going to see?
It is... It's something. There is something.
There's a movie coming out.
There is a movie coming out.
You know, of course.
Oh, I'm trying to remember back a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah.
When we talked about all this.
Well...
It's something... Oh, it's Project Almanac.
Yeah. So that one looks so. Yeah. We'll see how it is. That's about the kids that find the time machine or build a time machine. And they start going back in time and doing crazy stuff, and then pretty soon the time stream gets all
jacked up. That's what happens in a time travel movie.
What happens? It self-corrects basically, and it causes problems for the people messing with the timeline. So and then the next week, the next week is where this is where it blows up. So Seventh Son and Jupiter Ascending, both movies that have been pushed back and back, and both movies that we saw previews for
weren't excited,
and we were like, "This is kind of dumb." I don't know. Then we see the next set of previews.
Yep, and they look amazing.
And holy crap, it looks awesome.
Yeah,
Seventh Son, awesome fantasy. Great creatures, great CGI.
Yep.
Maybe that's why they pushed it back. They were trying to get the CGI right, which I'm glad they did in that case. Jupiter Ascending, at first I was like, I thought it was a love story between Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis. But guess what? No, it's
a sci-fi.
He's a soldier trying to pick up the rightful heir to this space empire that she ended up getting put on Earth probably by our parents, of course,
Yeah.
to be hidden from
Yeah,
bad
because
guys.
Earth is where you hide people.
Yeah. Well, it's a backwater world. As far as like every sci-fi goes, Earth is a backwater
Yeah,
planet.
we're the south of the universe.
We are the south of the universe. That's right, people. Not America. Earthica. Earthicans are the Southerns.
Yep,
of the universe.
we're the Hicks of the universe.
Yeah.
And no, it looks good. And then also SpongeBob the
Yeah.
movie coming out.
All in
So,
the same weekend. So maybe we'll triple feature it. Maybe we'll go over the course of a couple days. I don't know.
And maybe we'll move on and get into our trailers and videos. Maybe.
I may throw up on you.
I think these things are pretty safe.
Pander to me, kid. One tiny crack in the hull and our blood boils in 13 seconds. Solar flare might crop up, cook us in our seats. And wait till you're sitting pretty with a case of Andorian shingles. See if you're still so relaxed when your eyeballs are bleeding. Space is disease and danger wrapped in darkness and silence.
Well, I hate to break this to you, but Starfleet operates in space.
Yeah, well, I got nowhere else to go. The ex-wife took the whole damn planet in the divorce. All that left is my bones.
All right, yes, it's time for our trailers and videos.
yeah, trailers and videos and videos and trailers. Trailers of videos. Trailers for trailers, apparently. Some of these things are coming out with.
Yeah.
I didn't see any new trailers for any movies
No.
that
No.
was really geek-oriented. And
There was one about a girl who's immortal.
Other than we kind of... Wait, what?
Don't you remember that one? The
Oh, yeah.
the Age of Audrey or whatever it is.
But again, love story.
yeah.
That's the whole movie's about a love story or about her not being able to find love or something.
Yeah.
But as far as geeky goes, I didn't really see anything. We talked about Seventh Son and a little about
Jupiter
Ascending. But yeah, you can go check those out. I mean, they're all over YouTube and stuff.
So instead, let's talk about some YouTube videos.
yeah, fan-made stuff. Mm-hmm. And you'll be proud of me. I actually did put those links up last week.
Oh, yay. Clap,
So
clap,
there
clap,
you
clap,
go.
clap, clap, clap.
It's audio, Cory. You
No,
can
I-
actually make the noise. You don't have to say clap.
That's how my hands clap.
That's like me saying point,
clap,
point.
clap, 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 clap. You see, it's not me saying it. It's my hands
Yeah.
touching together.
Sure. All right. So the first one is a reimagining of the mid-season finale of Arrow. So, spoiler alert.
Wee, wee.
We should find like a spoiler alert sound.
It's gotta be Stewie Griffin in the second Star Wars parody where he looks at the camera and goes, "Spoiler alert!"
Spoiler alert. But it's reimagined as if it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got the fight scene between Arrow or Oliver Queen
Yep.
and Ra's al Ghul, but instead of using swords, they're using
Yep.
lightsabers.
The person's painted lightsaber or
yeah.
CGI lightsabers over him.
And it's actually really well done and pretty funny. And they obviously they cut bits and pieces from the show.
Yeah.
But it looks like a Star Wars episode.
And you're
or a movie.
like, oh my gosh.
Ra's al Ghul could make an evil Sith Lord.
Yeah, and
For
he
sure.
definitely is pretty much a Sith Lord.
Pretty much. So that one was really cool. There's another one you showed me today that
Yeah.
actually a couple of our friends will like, and I liked it too. It's real life Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Real life Hawkeye or real life
Can't
Green
remember
Arrow.
what the guy's name is. It's Alan something or other.
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk.
Not really, but he is a professional archer,
Danish.
Danish, and it talks about how most archers nowadays are archering wrong.
Yep.
You
archer wrong.
It's pretty cool. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't realize that now that I have heard
It's
this,
going
I
to
was like,
completely change you for any time you see an archer on
Right.
screen.
so quivers on the back, Hollywood,
All Hollywood.
not something that was ever done in medieval times.
Yep.
All Hollywood. At most, they had a quiver on their hip
Yep.
or on their leg.
Because quivers are unruly.
When you're running through the forest and you bend under a tree,
yeah.
the quiver gets hit,
Or
or all the arrows fall out of it onto the
exactly.
ground.
And then you're lost.
Whereas if it's on your hip, at least it's right there, and it's pretty much keeping its own weight from knocking out. Well, the main thing is not even that. Is most archers would carry arrows in their hand,
in their
drawing
hand.
in their drawing hand, the one that pulls the string back. So then they would load an arrow and they would pull the string back with that hand and still hold on to the other arrows. And fire. And they could load and fire. And incredibly fast.
Another thing that we learned about archery is that archers did not stand in one place and shoot. Like, they didn't arch and shoot as armies are coming at them. They were on the move. They were mobile.
They were firing in the middle of battle from any distance, from long range to within. Like, we're sitting right across from each other in a table. He actually shows a demonstration where he kicks back and shoots 2 targets right in front of him on the table within 2 seconds. And if you were the bad guys on the other side, you wouldn't have any time to react. You'd have arrows in you. So it kind of goes over this. Really cool. We'll post a link to it. And the other thing that really got me is arrows are actually on the wrong side.
Oh, yeah.
Most people... So...
Hollywood does it a lot. They shoot on the left side of the bow, towards their face,
so they can look down the shaft with one eye, kind of like when you're firing a gun,
which works for a target, because you're just aiming at a stationary thing. But it doesn't work in the middle of combat because you've got to bring the arrow around from the other side from where you're drawing it from, and it takes several movements and extra long time. The way you're supposed to do it is on the right side, where you just slap it in and use your thumb basically to hold it and pull it back.
Yes, which I thought was pretty cool. And so he talks about all these. It's slightly goofy.
Yeah, there's some goofy parts
because he talks about like where that you jump up over something and shoot down into a pit or whatever, and the guy jumps and he's a white guy. He can't jump.
Yeah,
he jumps like
pitiful, but
like 3 or 4 inches off the ground. But otherwise, he's really skilled.
Oh yeah,
throwing a pop can in the air, drawing an arrow, notching it, firing it into the pop can before it hits the ground. I mean, like regular archers, he can't really do that.
Arrow coming at him in half.
Yeah, someone fires another arrow at him, and he fires his arrow back and splits it in half in the air, which awesome. Actually shows a comparison of him and other world famous speed archers. And he fires like 4 arrows in the time they're able to fire
10 actually. 10 arrows in 4 seconds.
Yeah, 10 arrows in 4 seconds, and they only are able to fire a few, like 3 or 4.
With good accuracy.
With back quivers and really nice bows and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, really cool. And I've got 2 sides of this. One, it'll kind of ruin me on Hollywood-style archery.
I'm never going to look at a movie the same way. And every time I want to play a D&D character that happens to be an archer, I'm going to be like, this is so stupid. He shouldn't be using a quiver.
Well, the quiver will be a hip quiver.
Yeah, exactly.
And he'll only have the hip quiver so he can hold a bunch and then grab a few and then fire. But on the other hand, this video came out on YouTube and it's really popular, but it's only popular because of Katniss, Green Arrow, and Hawkeye. I'm sorry, but Mr. Aaron or Alan or whatever your name is,
Alan,
you're not going to change, and people are just going to look at you and think of you as Green Arrow, which might not be such a bad thing.
No, just be aware that that's going to happen.
Yes. The next one is a fan-made film for called A Smallville Man. It's a kind of like a motion comic style, almost watercolor.
It's pencil drawings. I would say it's pencil hand drawings.
Oh, actually, I would consider that charcoal.
Charcoal?
Like charcoal when they do the charcoal drawings.
I think it's more pencil, actually.
Okay.
So
I'll have to go rewatch it. But anyways, it's it has a little bit of a motion style to it. And it basically tells the story of Superman. Kind of like his upbringing in Smallville. It's
his modus operandi. I'm full of weird non-English words today.
The one thing that kind of threw me off was it's got Foo Fighters.
Oh, yeah. Walk.
It's got Foo Fighters playing over it, which doesn't really fit.
No.
It doesn't feel like it fits.
No.
But as far as the drawing goes, great animation.
You get to see a little bit of where Superman's inspiration came from, and you get to see him do what he does best, and that's save people.
Yeah, even people that most of us probably wouldn't save, but he has to rise above that. It shows what his true, I guess, morality, where his true morality lies,
which is save everybody.
Save everybody, even if they don't really deserve it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not his choice to choose when someone dies. So you hear that, Batman from Batman Begins. Superman would have saved Ra's al Ghul. He would have dropped him in a jail cell, but he would have saved him anyways.
Well, I mean, Superman just could have fixed every problem.
Oh yeah, he would have just stopped the train.
Yeah.
And so the next one was Watchmen, one of our most favorite superhero shows.
We're big fans of it.
I think I like it better than like Avengers and stuff.
Nope.
Because of the grittiness, I like
Nope,
it.
but go on.
But so Watchmen came out 2009, and it had a trailer. And it's pretty recognizable when you watch it.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I have to go where you watch it. But Cory, you said that oh yeah, this is just like. So someone took Avengers from the first movie.
Yep.
And turned it into the style of Watchmen.
Yeah.
And not only Avengers, but there were other scenes from the movies.
No, it was all. Oh yeah, there was a couple others from others, but it was very reminiscent of those trailers from Watchmen. And I had totally forgotten what the Watchmen trailer was, and I thought it was going to be a mixture of Avengers and Watchmen thing.
Like,
when
where they
you
mash
talked
them
about
up.
it. Yeah, but then I started watching it. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this trailer, and I remember the scene similarities and everything like that. It was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just kind of it seems a little late.
Yeah.
Because the Avengers is already out and Watchmen's been out for a while. But you know what? Good on you for making a video.
Sure. And so last but definitely not least, we've got some gaming trailers. Sid Meier.
Yeah.
Sid Meier?
Meyer?
I think it's Meier, M-E-I-R. Meier.
He did Civilizations.
Civilization.
Which is a game where you take on, like, Genghis Khan, and you take him from the Stone Age, or from his starting age, all the way through to
Modern age
and space technology and everything.
Yes. And so there's been 5 versions, Civilization, 5 different games.
5 different games.
Probably some expansions, too,
Yep.
I imagine.
The latest one is Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth, which takes you to colonies, and you basically colonize worlds and get to fight among the stars and everything.
He's coming out with a new one. Not a new Civilization.
No.
But it's called Starships.
Yep. A colony from Earth, a long ago Earth. Like, Earth has been dead for a long time now.
Yeah.
This colony landed, and they've been searching for other colonies that may have launched from their home world long ago.
To find other humans out in the galaxy.
They find a civilization sending a message that is very reminiscent of their language, and they're getting their ships prepared. They're making scientists and everything, and the message, they finally decode it to the message being,
help us.
Help us. There's something else out here.
Something else is attacking us, or, help us. So they end up arming them for war, and they send them off.
Yep.
The trailer is about 1.5 minutes long. It is all animated.
Yep.
Not CG, but more like someone drew it with colored pencils and then scanned them all into the computer. I'm sure it was all done on the computer, but that kind of style. So,
which is his style. Is the style of those cinematics and everything.
Yeah, the gameplay will be different. The gameplay will be really nice. But basically, they're giving you control of starship or starships.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's one or more. I hope it's more, because we already have quite a few games that are Control 1. You've got Elite Dangerous, you've got Star Citizen, and a couple others where you're one starship, one captain.
But do we have one in the Civilization style where you're managing? It's like a management game, basically.
Yeah, which means that's why I'm thinking. So I'm thinking
multiple.
Yeah, whole fleets of stuff. So yeah, that came out really cool.
Yeah,
really cool. I'm actually super excited for it. I got done and I was just like, thumbs up.
I'm all in.
I'm gonna play it. Yep, got it.
That comes out spring 2015.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, and that's it. There wasn't too much.
No,
but,
not too much.
Hopefully we get some more.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to our picks of the week.
Right.
Well, I need a rewrite, but in the meantime, if you could give it to anyone that you know in TV or film.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I will make it so. You've seen Star Trek The Next Generation, right?
I haven't, no.
Well, your wife won't let you have it on, has she?
I'm not married.
Your girlfriend, then?
I haven't got a girlfriend, I live alone.
You're not married, you haven't got a girlfriend, and you've never watched Star Trek?
No.
Good Lord.
That's right. Let's go ahead and make it so.
Make it so.
The
Make it
last
so.
little bit here.
Picks of the week.
Yep, picks of the week. And I'll go ahead and start first.
All right.
This week I went out and I bought all 3 of the D&D Next books.
Nerd.
The Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monsters Manual. And I just wanted to recommend everybody, if you want to play a role-playing game or get into it, D&D Next is actually a very good place to start.
Yeah.
It's much simplified compared to 4th edition. Wouldn't you agree? We played a little bit.
Yeah, we played last night.
Would you think it's a little bit simpler to?
Yeah, it's quite a bit simpler. There's less things to keep track of. There's less, like when you do attacks, it's not versus
I'm
different.
doing my named attack.
Yeah, not versus 4 different defenses. It's all just one defense.
Yeah,
That's all you
exactly.
have, which is kind of cool. So yeah, we played a little bit, had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I would just recommend go out and find. There's local. Every local comic shop usually has a D&D night that they do, like the regular encounter stuff. So if you really want to get into it, there's places for you to do it. So go check it out. D&D Next.
I believe there's some online stuff too. You can find local D&D groups, and a lot of times it'll be on like at least locally here. We've got KSL. Would have their in the classifieds. It'll be like looking for a new member, know, type deal.
And then if you are an aspiring writer, or you want to be a writer or something, the Dungeon Master's Guide is not a bad place to start, because it teaches you how to create a campaign and how to create villains and how to keep your story from being redundant and just a bunch of chase scenes and everything like that. And it's even got random tables that you can roll on all the time to determine what happens in a certain situation and things like that. It's a very handy tool to start learning how to write and make a story from. So if you really are an aspiring writer, there's that too.
Yeah, there's it only took us like an hour and a half total. That was in the middle while eating food at the same time for everyone to roll up a character and
from scratch.
From scratch. It's like naming them, finding out how tall they are, how much they weigh, and where their background information, all that stuff. So
all their different abilities and everything.
Really not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Good. I had a lot of fun with it. My pick of the week this week. Cory, do you like kittens?
I do like kittens.
Do you like explosions?
I love explosions.
Do you like it when kittens explode? Well, you should. Oh, that's something.
Sorry.
Well, you should.
All right.
Because the Oatmeal, a famous website, theoatmeal.com.
There's a lot of comics.
A lot of comic strips, funny stuff.
Yep.
He's really funny. And one of the most popular websites on the web. Well, anyways, him and a game designer came up with a game called Exploding Kittens. It's a card game. And
very simple card game.
Pretty simple. So
everybody gets like a hand of cards.
Yep, you put the cards on the table, you start drawing until one of you draws an exploding kitten card. And they've got funny pictures on them where there's like one example, there's a kitten chewing on a piece of dynamite and then a boat explodes.
Or pawing around with a grenade.
Walking across the keyboard of a nuclear launch facility and then blowing up.
And if you draw one of those, you're out of the game.
If you draw, you're dead, which is a bad thing. You're out of the game. Unless you use a diffuse card. Things like you use a laser pointer to diffuse the kitten.
Distracted.
You give him kitten therapy. You give him catnip sandwiches. And if you've ever seen the Oatmeal, you'll know how funny these cards are.
Oh yeah, they are definitely hilarious in the style.
So he's doing all the drawing of them, coming up with them. Him and his friend here that's doing this. You can also play various cards that let you skip turns, let you attack other players. You get a peek at the deck. You get to look for a kitten card and then relocate it into a different spot so that you can kind of create like a strategy for this. I mean, there's things like a feast upon a unicorn enchilada and gain its enchilada powers. Basically, you get to see the future.
I like the attack card, Awaken the Barodactyl.
Yeah, and it's a picture of a bear with wings,
with pterodactyl wings,
and just funny stuff. You don a portable cheetah butt, and it's basically cheetah pants that let you run past your turn. So why not only is this look funny and look fun, my pick of the week, but he put on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
He wanted to get $10,000.
Not a lot.
Start the game, not a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen many games
Seems like
require a lot more than this. Well, he has put it on Kickstarter, and he made $3 million in 3 days.
That's a lot of money.
That is a ton of money.
A lot of people want this card game, I guess.
Yeah, and it is the 22nd most funded Kickstarter ever. It is the 11th most funded game Kickstarter ever, and it is the #1 card game ever on Kickstarter. And he reached those 3 milestones in day 2. So he hasn't released what day 3, 4, or 5 have done. I personally went and backed it because they have a regular deck and they also have a
not safe for
work, a little bit more racy.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and, while you're talking a little bit more, I'm going to look at this up on Kickstarter.
Okay. And the Oatmeal is hilarious. He has a lot of funny musings on life in general. Things like, his website, things like my dog, how my dog perceives time. And he leaves the door, and 4 hours, 26 later, the dog runs in. Oh my gosh, you've been gone so long. I love you so much. I'm so glad you're back. And then the next panel, the next comic is, 4 seconds later, it comes back in. The dog does the same thing. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. You've been gone so long. And that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm excited for it. He's at 3.8 million now.
Yeah, with 24 days to go, he has 98,000 backers.
Yeah, he said in his little article he did that he went to a company and said, how much would it cost to print card game? And the guy's like, well, this much, and how much are you expecting? And he goes, well, about 1,000 units probably be enough. Yeah, he blew right through that in no time, which is awesome. Good job for the creator of the Oatmeal. This is also the same guy that has saved the Wycliffe facility in New York City, which was Tesla's laboratory.
Oh, wow.
It was going to be demolished. He raised $8 million on Kickstarter, purchased the property, and they're turning it into a Tesla museum.
Oh, cool.
Which freaking awesome.
Nicely done.
And you can go on his website and you can buy t-shirts and hats and stuff. And Elon Musk, can never say his name correctly the first time.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is the owner of SpaceX, and Tesla Motors, the motor company, car company, donated $10 million of his own money towards it.
Oh, wow.
Or $1 million or some huge amount of money towards this, and also said we'll put a Model S in and a Roadster in the museum because
very cool. It's inspired by Tesla.
Inspired by Tesla's modern engine.
I would also finally like to point out that the percentage funded, usually they get like 100% funded or whatever.
Yeah.
He is at 38,587% funded.
That's fantastic.
That is amazing.
Exploding Kittens on Kickstarter.
Definitely go check it
out.
Go
get it. I mean, the cheapest one's like $20 and you get the basic deck. $35 and you get the basic deck plus the not safe for work deck.
Yeah, which is just an expansion until he gets up to 100,000 backers.
Yep.
Which he's like 2,000 backers away. So go ahead and go back and you'll probably get a couple full decks.
Yeah, and you can even go higher too. You can actually go up to like $500. Oh, pardon me. It's getting late today.
It is very late. We're probably not going to post the podcast.
I lied.
Yeah,
sorry, folks. I lied.
You're going to get it. You're listening to this a day late, being you listen to the beginning, going, "You guys were late," and then now we're telling you, "Yes, we know we're late."
We're late.
But that's a good pick of the week: Exploding Kittens.
Yep.
Well, that's going to do it for the Acts of Geekery podcast. It's time for us to put on our nightcaps and go to bed.
Yeah. If you want to contact us, please shoot us an email, actsofgeekery@gmail.com.
Yep. You can go to Twitter and you can follow us at Acts of Geekery or use the hashtag Acts of Geekery if you want to contact us there.
Yep. And we'll find you that way. You can go to facebook.com/actsofgeekery and like us there. Leave a comment on one of our video or one of our posts. You can also send us a private message if you want to as well.
Or you can go to the... Did you say Facebook?
Yeah, I said Facebook.
Oh, you did Facebook. Okay. I'm not paying it. I'm so tired. Or you can go to YouTube. You can subscribe to us there, and you can comment on these videos. We post them up usually around the same day, maybe a day later. Eventually, I want to start getting a little bit more production and actually posting pictures with them instead of just posting the same picture throughout the entire thing.
All right.
And then you can also go to iTunes and give us a subscribe there, give us a review, and let us know what you think.
Yep, and those are all ACTS, not AXE.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the worst contact us section we've ever done.
Yeah,
we both messed up.
We are just so exhausted.
We're pretty tired here, yeah.
If you would like to come do the closing segment for the Acts of Geekery podcast, please send to pleasedatescott@gmail.com.
I'm going to go make that account
You better
now.
go make that account. Otherwise, somebody else is going to make it. And they're going to be like, I'm getting all these weird emails.
Yeah, who's these Acts of Geekery friends? Oh, whatever.
Well, that's going to do it for the Acts of Geekery podcast.
Another down.
I am slurring my words because I'm so tired because it is late. And I'm Cory.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the Brothers Geek.
Keep geeking out. See ya.